Cora Jade, aka Elayna Black, black by name, black by nature. She's fallen in to the black abyss, the black void, which is the world of OF. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Got to talk about Cora Jade today and the fact that she has become the highest paid female wrestler, the highest earning female wrestler over the last month. She's talking about stepping away from wrestling because of her so-called mental health, and she's just bought a Mercedes. Not Mercedes money, but a Mercedes car. How much would it cost to buy Mercedes money? I don't know, but if you have to pay $99 just to text some AI version of Mercedes, I'm going to assume that buying the real deal, brother, rest in peace Hulk Hogan, would cost a lot of money. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about today with Cora Jade and her stepping away from wrestling, so to speak, and her becoming the highest paid female over the last month in wrestling as well. So, yeah, am I surprised? I mean, no, I'm not. Is it a shame that this is the case? So it is. I mean, you can say what you want. I mean, it is sad that someone that claims that her goal in life was to become a professional wrestler, and, you know, she decided to take the easy way out. And she's done that. She's done that with OF, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about all that today, but where will we start? Right, well, first of all, we'll start with the statement that she made, taking a break away from wrestling from the time being. Because I've just got to be honest, guys, it is absolute bullshit. It is bullshit that she's claiming that she's taken a break away from wrestling to prioritise her mental health. Does she really think that being an OF model in the future, does she think that sex work's going to improve her mental health? Absolutely not. But, you know, we've seen Mandy Rose do it. She set the blueprint. Although, I mean, it's not like some sort of Einstein IQ maneuver. Anyone can see that if you're an attractive woman, here, people just don't understand, right? In OnlyFans or whatever, any kind of work really with online, doesn't need to be OF, even if you get into like the industry or whatever, the corn, here to stay, down, since we can't say the actual word, we're going to go with corn, what a band they are, anyway. Yeah, so if you get into that industry, I mean, first of all, well, let's just go with the OF, right? Let's just use that for an example. Forget about the other industry. You don't even need to be that attractive, okay? You really don't. You just need to be semi-hot. Now, I'm not saying that Cora Jade is unattractive. What I will say is that I think that her looks have went downhill massively over the past couple of years. I think when she first came into WWE, she had just a more natural kind of look. She was going with the old kind of tomboy gimmick where she was kind of being like that alternative chick and she was coming out with a skater board. I think she looked better back then. Since then, she's got a lot of surgery done. Obviously, she got the enhancements. Not an enhancement talent, brother, but she got the enhancements done on her chest. And you can just see like fillers and stuff like that, and you can just tell with a lot of women that they do get a lot of work done to their face, and it gives them this plastic sort of look, this non-natural look, and it is what it is. A lot of women think this look is great and they think this makes them look better, but I think a lot of men think the opposite. They don't want a plastic looking face or a face caked in makeup. I think most guys prefer a more natural look, but we do see a lot of women that they tend to just get a lot of stuff done, and then they've got the big lips, the lip fillers, the cheek fillers and all this, the cheekbones, and I think it looks shit, to be fair. Does Cora Jade look hotter now than she did 3 years ago? I certainly do not think so. But anyway, that is irrelevant. What is relevant is when you get into WWE, you begin to generate a fan base. You begin to assemble a following. And it's natural because you're on TV. You know, you've got people watching you on TV. And if you're a hot chick like Cora Jade, you're going to get guys, oh, look at her. She's hot. I'm going to follow her on Twitter. I'm going to follow her on Instagram. That's just how it works, all right? It's natural. It's nothing wrong with that. You see a hot chick, you're like, oh Christ, I'll follow her on Instagram. So she is assembling this big following, and it doesn't even need to be a big following, okay? You could go, well, nobody really knows her. It's only 200,000 people or whatnot, but you don't need a lot of people, and OF has proven that. If you can get like even a small percentage of that 200,000 to follow you to a platform. And if you're charging, let's say you're charging $14.99 a month, if you've got like 300,000 followers, even if you just get 1,000, right? Even if you just get like 1,000 people to follow, there's we've got 15,000 a month, and that's just with 1,000 followers. She's probably getting a lot more than that, but the point is, it's like, you don't need, it's not like the most attractive girl makes the most money on OnlyFans. It's semi-attractive women that have a fan base as well. For example, let's say Cora Jade's like an 8 out of 10, alright? Let's say, or a 7 out of 10, or a 6 out of 10. It doesn't matter. Let's say she's even worse than that. Let's go with 6, alright? Let's just, 6 is decent, 6 is good. Let's say she's a 6, okay? There could be, down the street, okay, there could be your next door neighbour, whatever. Your next door neighbour could be an 8, she could be a 9. But if she's just got your average everyday job, let's say she's a nurse, okay? She might be better looking than Cora Jade, but she doesn't have the following, you know, she's not had the exposure of TV, she doesn't have the fan base. So if she starts an OF, despite her being way hotter than Cora Jade, I mean, who's going to know about it? Because all she really has is her social media with like friends, family, and maybe a few strangers. What's she going to do? What's she going to post it to? You know, it's going to take her time. If she starts like an OF, she's going to have to start from scratch, and she's going to have to like get a Instagram account or whatever, and she's going to have to promote it, and that's going to take time to build up. But with Cora Jade and Mandy Rose, they don't need to do that. They've already got a shitload of followers, a shitload of simps that are ready to pay them money, and that's exactly what has happened here when Cora Jade joined it. So you don't even need to be that attractive, man. See, any woman, honestly, even the ones that you don't really find that attractive in WWE, they could start an OF and they will make a shitload of money. And it is kind of sad. And it is the easy way out, but that's kind of the world that we live in right now. I mean, even if you look at someone like an Ivy Nile, she could join OnlyFans and she will make a shitload of money just because she's got a decent amount of followers already, and people will pay to see that. You know, it's kind of pathetic, but whatever. But when you're Cora Jade, the Cora Jades of these worlds, when she joins it, it's like no risk because she's guaranteed to make money. So for example, the hot chick that maybe lives next door to you, she could be an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Even if she's a 10 out of 10, okay, she could start an OF. But because she's not got a following, because she's not got a fan base, it could, you know, pun intended, go tits up, and she doesn't make that much money. She doesn't get that much subscribers, and then all of a sudden, she's ruined her reputation. And for what? You know, for some pocket change that doesn't really matter. And then all of a sudden, she's regretting that decision. She's put herself out there online, and she hasn't made any money. But with Cora Jade and Mandy Rose, they are guaranteed to make money because they already have the fan base from WWE. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this happening in the future where women get into WWE, gain the fan base, and then go to OF. And that's what would make sense. It wouldn't make any sense to not go to WWE first, because if you're on WWE, you're getting the exposure, and that's going to get you the following. If you just don't go to WWE and you go to OF straight away, you're behind a paywall. You're behind like a private paywall. So the only people that can see you is the people that pay. So therefore, you've got no way of gaining a following. So you really do need some sort of platform, whether it be WWE or, you know, UFC or whatever. It doesn't even need to be a combat sport, but you do, even if you're doing modeling first, you know, then you get a bit of a following, and then you join. And that's how it works, man. So, yeah, like the average Joe, or not Joe, because Joe's a guy's name, I guess. But, you know, the average, I don't know, Jackie, the average Jackie, you need to, like, get a following first before you go into it. And we're seeing with Cora Jade and Mandy Rose, they've got a following. So, anyway, let's get into what Cora Jade said about leaving and taking some time off. She said, quote, "I originally had a 10-minute long video explaining where my head's at, and maybe eventually I'll post it, but it seems unnecessary for now. I'll keep it short. I am going to be taking a break from wrestling for the foreseeable future. It's no longer good for my mental health, and I'll never know that if I love it. Once I had, I'll never know if the I'll never know if the love that I once had for it will return if I don't step away. I'm going to take the rest of the year to take care of me and go from there. I apologise to the fans and promoters who were looking forward to book my upcoming appearances. I hope you can understand. To my supporters, thank you, Brie, Elayna, let's go or be dragged. End of quote. This is bullshit, saying that she's taking some time off for her mental health. No, she's not, okay? She was asked a few weeks ago, like a month ago, would you return to WWE? And she said no, because she said she loved the indies and she loved the creative freedom that she had on the indies, and she was looking forward to all these bookings and all these appearances. And obviously this was before, you know, she got her first check for OF, and maybe before the OF really took off. So back then, you know, a month ago, she was saying she didn't want to return to WWE. She was loving the indies. And now all of a sudden, she's not loving the indies. It's bad for her mental health. It's funny because she says her mental health's the problem. She says her mental health is an issue. But which line of work is she stepping away from? You know, the professional wrestling business, or the business that has, you know, proven over the years to be bad for females' health and has, you know, gave them issues long term. Which line of work is she stepping away from? Is she stepping away from the one that is more likely to cause mental health problems, or is she stepping away from the professional wrestling business? I'll tell you which one she's stepping away from. The one that doesn't make anywhere near the amount of money that the other one does. So yeah, she's stepping away from wrestling while staying on OnlyFans. And she's also like, every day she's just like uploading, well, not every day, but anytime like I'm on Instagram, you'll see like pictures and she's like just uploading like, oh, at beaches, or like this resort, or oh, look at me, I'm in a fancy mansion or whatnot, or look, I've got this apartment. It doesn't look like someone who's struggling. It looks like someone who's showing off. You know, it looks like someone who's saying, oh, look at me, look at the money I'm making, look at the benefits of doing what I want to do. And I don't know, I find it hard to have any sympathy. You know, if someone who was really struggling, I don't think they would be pretty much bragging and showing off with what their new lifestyle is, you know, getting them on a daily basis. And then yesterday she just showed off her brand new Mercedes that she bought. So her mental health's really bad, but she's going to buy Mercedes and fast cars, you know. I don't buy it, guys. I think it's just a case of her taking the easy way out. She's realised how much money she can make on OnlyFans now, and she's thinking, hold on, why do I even need to travel and do wrestling for, you know, peanuts, for small money, when I can just not do that, save myself more time, have this easy life, and just, you know, basically be a hoe. And that's what she's doing. And it's sad. But yeah, she's prioritising the easy way out. She's prioritising her OF money, you know, over her wrestling career, which she claims to love. You know, I don't buy it. Dave Meltzer came out and said, quote, I know she was talking to somebody who I know, and she has probably made more money last month than any woman pro wrestler in the world, probably by a lot because of OnlyFans. Mandy Rose set the template, and you know, if you've got the right look, you can do OnlyFans coming off a WWE run. And not everyone can do it, obviously, but some can. I mean, Mandy Rose is incredibly rich from that, and it's the new thing, and more people are going to be doing it, end of quote. All right, I actually disagree with Meltzer. He says that not everyone can do it, obviously, but some can. I disagree. I think everybody, every female in WWE right now could do OnlyFans. And people are going to go, oh, no, but there's unattractive. No, there's not. Well, there is, but people simp for them anyway. There's a lot of unattractive women, or a few unattractive women, should I say, in WWE. Look at people like Nia Jax, who's fat, Piper Niven, who's fat. Look at all the defenders that you get. People saying, oh, you know, no, Piper Niven, your ass is so great. No, it's not. It's just a big, you know, it's a two big fucking massive pieces of fat, you know, it's like, it's obesity. That's what it is. But, you know, people are simping, pretend that she's got a great, oh, look, you've got a big ass. She ain't got a big ass, she's got a fucking fat ass, and not a good kind, you know. So people would, if Piper Niven quit WWE, she could join OnlyFans and she would make good money. Dave Meltzer doesn't think that she would, but I'm telling you, 100%, she would. Would she make as much as Cora Jade? No, but she would still make a shitload of money. There is no doubt about that, for a fact. So yeah, she's enjoying her new Mercedes and whatnot. Her mental health's so bad, but she's taking a break from professional wrestling and she's sticking at the OnlyFans. It's funny that, how come her mental health isn't bad, but she's going to, why not take a break from OF, but, you know, stay in professional wrestling? I think we all know the answer to that. She's just realised how much money that she can make doing this, and she's decided, well, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. Going forward, I'm going to do OF because it's easier and it makes more money than, you know, touring America, travelling for less money, banging up my body and all this shit. But at the end of the day, in terms of what is respectable, OF is not. Now, maybe if you're Mandy Rose and you've got like this simp boyfriend and whatever, but no man would really respect his girlfriend for doing OF. No man wants a wife who has, you know, got her nudes all over the internet. And let's say you have children in the future, and I don't know, Mandy Rose and Cora Jade don't really strike me as the Mullers types. You know, they'll probably have like 10 cats when they're 50 odds or whatever, but it's embarrassing, you know. What are you supposed to tell your kids? You know, your son goes to school, little Jimmy goes to school, high school, and people are whipping out their phones and like, oh, look at this picture, and they're showing him like a picture of his naked mum, and then he gets beat up and stuff like that because his mum was a hoe back in the day, and it's, you know, it is what it is. And then even on the other side, if you've got a daughter, then she could maybe look at you as an example, because you do look at your parents as a figure in life, and, you know, I guess a lot of sons kind of grow up like their father, and maybe a lot of daughters grow up like their mother, and you know, it's just that it's a bad example to lead, and who wants that? But I don't know. I don't really think Cora Jade and Mandy Rose will have kids. But anyway, yeah, she says her mental health is screwed, but it seems cheap to me. It just seems like she's enjoying the money from OF, and she's decided, you know what, I'm going to prioritise that. I'm going to have an easy life, making all this money by just showing off my body, and then I don't need to bother travelling the indies. The so-called indies that I claimed to love just over a month ago, or less than a month ago. She said she wouldn't return to WWE because she loves the indies, and now all of a sudden she doesn't love the indies because it's really bad for her mental health. But, you know, OF and money is really good for her mental health. Lame, guys. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. I don't respect it. I like hot women in wrestling, but look at the abuse and the stigma and the criticism that the women of the past get is unbelievable. Yeah, Tori Wilson and Stacey and Trish, they were doing bra and panties matches, but, you know, that's no different from a woman that is, you know, doing like a lingerie scene in a movie, okay? They're pretty much actresses. They're playing their part, they're playing their role, and I don't give a shit what you say. I look at the likes of Tori Wilson and Trish Stratus, Stacey Keebler. They all seem way more respectable to me than the women of today. I don't think, honestly, I think that if you could put Trish in a time machine and make her 25 years younger, I don't even think she joins OF. Same with Stacey Keebler. I don't think she joins OF. To me, these are women that have got respect, and yeah, they will act sexy, but there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. How many women have we seen in movies that have like act sexy, or they've got these really like sexy scenes, but it doesn't make them hoes. You know, it doesn't make the fact they're willing to sell their body just because you're willing to look good in like a bra or something like that. That doesn't mean that you're a hoe. But yeah, you got these women now just monetizing, and it's, you know, I won't go too much more into it, but I just don't agree with the whole thing. For me, it's poor. I don't really have any respect for Cora Jade. I wouldn't be surprised if that's her wrestling career done. She says she's going to take the rest of the year off. You know, by the end of the year, she'll have even more money. I just think it's unlikely. You know, think how much more money. If she just became the highest paid female wrestler there over the month, in another 6 months, she's going to have 6 months more of that kind of money. I just can't imagine at the end of 2025, she's going to be like, with a big fat bank account, she's going to be like, all right, you know what? That's it. I want to go back to the indies and wrestle for like $500 a night and have to drive 14 hours, you know, to get to the show. I don't see it happening. I'd say her wrestling career's done, and she'll probably be known as an OF model, and who knows, maybe CM Punk got a free subscription. I don't know. I don't care. Let me know what you guys think down below. Is what it is. Till next time. Peace.